Ellie and Dina have entered Seattle finally. It is Seattle day one. They find a place that they consider to be relatively safe. They haven't run into any infected. They haven't run into any soldiers. The only people they've encountered have been dead. We knew that the history of Seattle was fraught with violence, just like the history of almost every remaining city.
In Seattle, we have a group that was under the heel of Fedra and was able to set up this uprising that in large part was helped by Isaac. And that's part of his origin story.
Isaac, who remembers what the world was like before, makes it very clear to these guys that they're assholes.
So I got 3 voters against the wall. I caught them red-handed disseminating pamphlets.
The citizens, why do you call them voters? Took away their right to vote. Somebody started calling them voters to mock them.
The reason these people are miserable is because Fedra has taken away all of their rights.
Isaac Dixon, who's leader of the WLF, at the beginning of his story in the show, I wouldn't say that he betrayed Fedra. I think rather it's the opposite. He feels that Fedra has betrayed him in terms of ethics, commitment to citizenry, and so he takes steps to reinvent himself. Maybe at the expense of others.
Welcome to the fight.
We were very excited when we were able to cast Jeffrey Wright. So it made complete sense to us to bring him back in the same exact role because unlike some of the other casting choices that were in the game, he is the right age, he does have the right look. It had to be this larger-than-life character. Jeffrey Wright was such a brilliant actor. Felt like such a sweet opportunity that I, as a fan of the story, love, and I'm sure other fans of the game will eat it up.
Now make your choice.
You see him give this kid a chance, but then you see that same person 10 years later, they're like a shell of that person that was once there before.
Scar got what he deserved. Fucking animal.
And I think you see it also with Isaac. At the very beginning, who he was, where his morals were, and now you join him much later, the WLF are just as bad as Fedra. And I think that's what's really key and what's so clever in Jeffrey's performance is that this is a character that has a lot of power.
Where are the Scars attacking next? Hold out your hand.
Isaac, for all of his insight, still seems to suffer from the same disease everyone has, which is either infected with cordyceps or tribalism. Isaac is still seeing the world as us and them, and we will see how that disease is the real contagion in the world today.
She watches over me. She fills my soul.
What I appreciated about that scene was Ryan, the other actor who was chilling, the vulnerability, but also the danger and the mystique that we associate with the Seraphites. And he kind of embodied just beautifully in that scene.
You're gonna lose.
Are we?
Every day a wolf leaves you to become a Seraphite. And none of us ever leave to become a wolf.
Isaac sees them as irrational, but he recognizes that they're a threat to his power and they're a force to be reckoned with.
You really see Isaac's point of view, basically, and how he sees the world. For me, that's quite terrifying.
Fedra got fucked up out here. You think it was the WLF?
Fedra gear. Almost looks like they were fighting each other.
As they're trying to figure out what to do next, they find a music shop. And in that shop, we learn something about Ellie. This goes back to season 1.
You want to learn how to play guitar?
That'd be great.
We find out that Joel did teach her how to play, and he taught her really well. And Dina arrives and sits down, and this is a moment that is from the game directly.
It was optional in the game. It was possible to miss it. But it was such a fan favorite, and we loved it so much, me and Craig, we had to bring it over.
Take me on. I'll be gone in a day or two.
This really beautiful performance, not just from Bella and how she's playing it and singing it in this like very iconic song from Aha, but really beautiful performance by Izzy. We get to see there's something else going on. She's having such a strong emotional reaction to seeing Ellie play this song.
The music shop scene was really special. It was one of those days that just felt really magical and easy. Bella played beautifully. I was serenaded the whole day, like, come on, that's awesome. Also getting to fall in love with the character in such a unique way was really, really cool. I think that's when she knows that she loves Ellie. You've gotten pretty good.
Thanks.
Just for this moment, they have this shared happiness, and it's a moment like we might live in this world. It's rare in the world that they live in where they have to survive day to day, hour to hour.
I'm a massive fan of the game, and so I was so happy to have Take On Me in my episode, because that's like one of my favorite moments. Ellie basically is completely putting their heart on the line, singing the song, and Bella can play guitar, so that was a gift. So Bella learnt the song. That made such a massive difference, I think.
All those lessons from Joel.
He taught you well.
He did.
Using heightened set pieces for them to explore their love story was a very satisfying way for them to both open their hearts to each other. The key thing for me was always keeping everything feeling grounded. Like the K&B set is one of the most spectacular sets I've ever been on, but what happens in the story at that set is incredibly violent.
So the TV station was this big new set that Don, the production designer, and his team designed. To be honest, I actually think it might be my favorite set of the season.
It was fairly heavily based on the game. We sort of had a lot more to do in terms of how they get in and the little battle they have, how they escape. It was a really substantial build.
It just had all these different spaces for us to play in. There's the large open room. There's an upstairs office. When they first come in, there's this image that was very important for Craig to get right from the game, which is these hanging bodies, lit up by the Seraphites purposefully.
I just get a little nauseous when I think about it. They put real people up there and they put them in harnesses, and they were just hanging with their miles of guts spilling out.
It was really important that we do that with actual bodies, so it's stunt people who are hanging, which, adds a layer of complexity to shooting the scene.
And then, Katie, let's see what happens when you guys go to hide.
It was terrible. It was disgusting.
This is where Dina and Ellie realize this is not a simple place. This is a cycle of violence that is accelerated, where people have now fully dehumanized each other.
That group we saw in the woods, they did this.
What the fuck is wrong with Seattle?
Ellie and Dina must escape as the WLF returns to the station and see what has happened to their comrades, to people they care about.
No, we can fit, they can't. Come on. It was very, very tight, and I'm a little claustrophobic, and I was really worried about getting stuck because I kept seeing Bella's gun would get stuck on a rock.
This tunnel leads to an abandoned and, in fact, collapsed metro tunnel. And this was another incredible set that Don and his team built in an old newspaper factory.
It's a dream to come on a set like this. The show is all about being visceral and grounded. And when you have something like this set to work with, it makes our lives so much better.
Dina!
Ellie and Dina running on top of the train, and we see infected horde that are chasing them. We have to add to the numbers, but we have to be invisible. We have to feel like everything is practical. So that's where visual effects and stunts will work closely together.
So really, really thinking someone's behind you, push them, swerve, find different levels, come up and out.
Stunties, mine is Cass and Isabella's is Naomi, really are so great at walking us through what we're doing and making sure that we're comfortable. And yeah, the whole stunt team were such a support during that episode. The scariest part for me is that actually inside it's full of skeletons and stuff.
The first carriage they run through is just glass cracking. But then the third one, the infected, they're not quite in the train yet. So then that earns you the moment with the clicker at the door where it's like, oh my God, they are in the train now. And then obviously the last carriage is just chaos.
3, 2, 1, action.
I mean, obviously it's all fake, but it feels really real to me.
In their escape, Dina is about to be bitten, and Ellie instinctively puts her arm out to take the bite, and that is when Dina is 100% certain that she is going to have to shoot Ellie in the head.
I love Dina's journey in this episode, right? Because we have been being quite sure about her feelings for Ellie. She talks about her sexuality.
I told my mother, and she said, no, you like boys.
Wanting to own who she actually is by the end of the episode. And I think that is a very moving and powerful story. Hopefully will touch a lot of people.
Dina and Ellie both have a big secret that they're hiding from each other in this moment. And so when that comes out, I think just the fear and the animal instinct of like needing to survive and needing human connection, that just kicks in. And I'd say that's probably one of the scenes with the most heightened emotion, like bubbling at the surface for both of them. It's just water. Rain fell on my face, that's all. No shaking.
Ellie. Yeah, I'm pregnant.
I remember when I read that in the script, that this moment that's filled with so much fear and so much anger, like really primal instincts, for that to turn into them connecting physically with each other for the first time makes so much sense.
Dina and Ellie love each other and care for each other so much. The two of them are now more than they used to be and will stay that way.